One of the biggest mistakes I see real estate agents make is they keep doing things that aren't working. Today I'm going to break down the worst lead gen strategies I see agents continuing to do and what you should be doing differently. Sometimes success in real estate is just as much about realizing what you should be doing as doing the things you should be doing. So I'm going to talk about what it is that a lot of I see with agents doing as far as lead generation strategies that are not working, or maybe had worked in the past and are not working anymore, and what it is that you can substitute in that time frame, and what I'm seeing that top producing agents are doing instead. So I'm going to break these down. This is not in a specific order, but I'm going to talk about some of the things that I'm seeing that I wish agents would stop doing. The first one is this: stop buying leads without having a follow-up plan. It's literally like, think of it this way. If a lead generation company, if all they had to do was generate leads and people would buy, they would be a real estate company instead of a lead generation company. There's a reason they're not. It's because the lead that comes in has to be nurtured. It has to have a plan of action. There has to be a system of follow-up that moves them from lead to actually moving them to client that actually closes on something and actually moves forward with buying or selling a home. So what is it that we can do to set this system up? The first thing is this: think about what it is that the client actually needs or the prospect actually needs. The first thing, if it's a buyer lead that's coming in, they want to know about properties that are coming on the market. They want to know about off-market properties. They want to know that they have someone that understands the real estate market and can help them get from where they are to where they want to go. So what can you do to systematically set those things up? Number one is obviously you should have a search set up that's going to email them automatically information about properties. The second thing is you need to have a system where you're going to let them know about off-market properties, communicating to them that you are the source that will help them find the perfect place for them, whether it's on the market or not. Now this can be done by talking about, hey, once I know and we narrow in on the community that you want to be in, I'm going to take and I'm going to send specific letters to that neighborhood, and I'm going to follow up with phone calls to all the owners in that neighborhood to uncover your perfect place if we can't find it on the MLS. You're breeding confidence with that person, and you're locking in a buyer's agent that's not going to be moving from one place to the next, seeing what they can find. They're building a professional relationship with a professional agent. Also, what is it that we can do to make sure that they know that we know what's going on in the market? Once they give you an idea of their price range, talk to them about the process. Get them pre-approved for a loan. Talk to them about the price point that they're looking in and what does the market look like? Is it something where they have an opportunity to negotiate, or is the market so tight that they can expect they need to be ready to move as quickly as possible? And you basically give them the ability to understand the process before it actually happens. You see, when you educate and you set the things up in a way that you give that person what it is they want and you build a system for all follow-up, now you're in a position that the leads that come in, you can maximize those opportunities. The second ineffective lead generation strategy I see right now agents continuing to do, is door knocking. Now, listen, there is a way to do this. I see people that are just door knocking and just saying, hey, I've got a market report on your neighborhood. Have you thought about selling? That is annoying. That is not something that is going to generate opportunities. Now, anybody, if you do enough of it, you can possibly do that, but it's very ineffective. Now, let me tell you what you can do. If you're going to door knock, and there is an effective way to do this, do it with an invitation to something. In other words, not where you're going to ask for something, but you're actually inviting people to something. So if you're going to have an open house, hey, I just want to let you know we're having an open house if you'd like to see this house, or if you know someone that's interested, we'd like to invite you to our open house. We're going to have a food truck. We're going to have these things. Whatever it is that you're going to do, invite them to the open house. Make them feel special. And by the way, we're going to have the open house for the general public from 11 to 1 on Saturday, but from 10 to 11, we're going to have a special time where people in the neighborhood will be there. We're not going to publish it, where you can come by and not have to worry about the crowds. Make them feel special. Also, what else can you do? You can invite them to something that you're doing, like a going away party for the seller that maybe lived in the neighborhood. Maybe you're the one that hosts the party for those neighbors that wanted to have something where they could say goodbye to their neighbors. Or maybe your buyer that bought in there, you say, hey, listen, I'd love to introduce you to the neighbors. Why don't you let me host a party and let me invite all the neighbors? Now you're going by and you're saying, hey, just wanted to let you know that the house 4 doors down, the Smiths just moved into that house and they're new to the area, and we're going to actually have just a getting together where they can meet some of the neighbors. We're going to have some food. We're going to have some drinks. It's going to be on Wednesday at 6 p.m. We'd love to invite you to meet your new neighbors. That is a way where you're inviting them of something that gives them a little bit of value. You're not asking them for something. You're actually inviting them to something. Maybe it's where you host something for the neighborhood, where you have a specific night that you're going to have a food truck available available for the neighbors to come order dinner. And maybe it's something where you go by and you say, hey, just want to make sure you're aware of this. We're actually going to have a food truck here. We're going to be providing free desserts if you're interested for anyone that buys a dinner here. It's going to be on Wednesday night. We just want to make sure you had the details, and also so that you can prepare for that. Again, we're inviting them to something instead of asking them for something. If you're going to be doing door knocking and you want to be effective, go in with a purpose and with an invitation. The third worst thing I see agents doing is that they're just utilizing brand content from their brand about holidays. In other words, they're posting Happy 4th of July. No one cares, and no one's going to engage with a Happy 4th of July post on social media. And in reality, it's going to kill your algorithm, because all of a sudden the algorithm is going to be like, oh, they post content that nobody engages with. So what could you do differently? Instead of doing that, why couldn't you do the 4 best places to see fireworks in your city on the 4th of July? That's something that could get shared. That's something that people would engage with. Or maybe if it's Mother's Day, or it's something where you're posting about a Valentine's Day or Mother's Day or a holiday like that, instead of posting Happy Mother's Day, maybe you just went in and you said, hey, I've got reservations at the best brunch places in your city. I have a reservation for 10 a.m. I have a reservation at 11 a.m. at this place. I have a reservation for noon at this place. If anyone's interested and still looking for a great place to take their spouse or their mother on those holidays, just reach out. I'll be glad to get you those reservations. Something that's a little bit different, where you're actually giving value to the people. So let's think about like Thanksgiving, for instance. Instead of just posting Happy Thanksgiving that's going to get no engagement, why not, instead of posting, take a selfie video and a heartfelt message to your 10 favorite clients, the people that sent you referrals, the people that you're thankful for and that is genuine, that did business with you this past year. Send those specific messages to those folks. Instead of making something that's generalized, that is not going to get engagement, that will actually kill your algorithm, make sure that you're out there being more personal, giving value, and that you're giving something that people actually want to engage with, that helps them in their daily life instead of just being noise. The next mistake I see agents make is they're just sending typical just listed and just sold postcards. How many of you are like me, and that when you're sitting there, and I'm actually in the business, so I'm looking at these things, are standing over the garbage with your mail as it's coming in, and you're just ripping those things and throwing them away, not even paying attention to them? Now, let me just say this. The reason why people keep sending them is that they still do have an ability to get a 1% return rate, possibly, but the problem is they've just become noise. They don't stand out at all. So what is it that you can do differently than the standard just sold and just listed postcards? Why not share the story about what it is that you did in that process? You can share that on social media. You can talk about the obstacles that you overcame. You can talk about the ways that you helped those clients. But again, this is, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, make sure you're making the process and the people actually the hero in this instead of you. And instead of just sending the just listed, just sold postcards, do a postcard that says, what have you heard about your neighbor? Have you heard what your neighbor did? Those are the type of things where you tell the story. It becomes something that is different, makes you stand out, and it's way more effective. And instead of hoping that you get a 1% return on the just listed, just sold standard postcards that everybody's doing, now you can see the results multiply at a level that really makes a difference in your business. The next mistake I see agents making is they're shooting video content, whether it's for social media or for YouTube, that isn't searchable. Here's the bottom line. Everything is shifted to now where it is all about search. Even on social media, they're telling us that they're going through, this is the TikTok effect I've talked about, where everything is the algorithm driven. It's not, as a matter of fact, as much about the people that you're connected to. It's about the people that are searching for content like what you're making. So if we want to get better results, think of it from a standpoint is what is it that they want and what is it that they're searching for. I like to use the acronym GRAB, with the first letters representing a couple different types of content that you can be utilizing that'll make sure that you're maximizing the search capabilities for your videos. The first one of these is geographic content. That's what the G stands for. So what we're thinking about here is specific areas. So this could be a specific neighborhood that is being searched for if it's a large neighborhood in your area. This could be also thinking about specific searches that are being made from feeder markets. In other words, comparing the demographics or what it costs to live in Charlotte versus Raleigh, or from Atlanta to 30A, whatever it is, those areas where people are feeding in to the market and they're searching for that type of content. Also, what is it geographically that people want to know about? They want to know about specific schools. They want to know about the amenities in the area. Geographically focusing in on what is it that people are searching for. Now, you can do a lot of these searches by going into Google, going into YouTube, and actually starting to punch it in. So in other words, if you were doing this and you were coming from a specific market into a new one, what is it that people are searching for? They would want to know best things to do in a certain area. They would want to know best schools in whatever your city is. They would want to know the specifics of top neighborhoods in whatever your city is. Think geographically on the search side of this, and you're going to get better results for the type of content that you're producing. Next up is the R, and that stands for relevant content for these specific buyers and sellers. So what is it that they're searching for? You know, think of it this way. If you go in and they were posting on YouTube, it would be like the 5 biggest mistakes homeowners make before listing their home in your city. Make sure that you're making it specific. Also, what is it that people are doing? I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but this is something that you could think of from a search term. The top 5 neighborhoods in your city. Now, we're doing something that's relevant for that person that's moving into the area. Or the 5 biggest things people say they wish they would have known before they moved to your city. Those are the type of contents that are relevant. They're actually something that people will search for, and those are the types of content that are going to get a better engagement than your typical posts. The A in the acronym stands for attractions. So what is it that people are attracted to in your area, or maybe even amenities that are in your area? So think of it this way. The 5 best restaurants for date night in whatever your city is. Or maybe you're thinking about it from an amenity standpoint, and it's like the 5 things that people love living in whatever that area is. Think from a standpoint of what it is that people will be searching for, things that make you the resource. Think about highlighting businesses. Think about highlighting restaurants. Think about highlighting some of the things that maybe people, the history of your area, and telling the story of how your area got its name, or something that people don't realize when they move to your area before they get there. Those are all types of contents that are talking about the attractions. They're talking about the opportunities that are there that people want to know about before they move to your area, or those that live there want to be able to understand as well. When you focus in on those typical things that are the attractions, now you become the resource that you're looking to be. The B stands for business. You got to talk about your business a little bit. Now, this is where we're going to share information about our listings. We're going to tell the stories of how we've helped those buyers and those sellers. We're going to talk about some of we're going to highlight our reviews. We're going to highlight and specifically share some of the video reviews we might have. You see, ultimately, we're in the real estate sales business, so we have to have a portion of our content that people are searching for, real estate will find. So this is highlighting off-market or coming soon properties. This is highlighting your listing. This is the deal of the week, or finding that property that every single week you're posting that is the best opportunity that you're seeing in the marketplace. You see, when you focus in on that GRAB acronym, all of a sudden your video content is going to get way more engagement, and it's going to absolutely help your business grow. The next mistake I see agents making is they continue to send out a monthly newsletter that is of little relevance to those folks. They're having ChatGPT just write them an article about their area that nobody cares about. You see, when you want to get to the people and you want to be consistent, what is it that they really want? I mentioned the deal of the week in the previous one. The best thing you can do to your database, instead of sending a newsletter that nobody cares about, is send them specific property details. Give them an opportunity that basically at the end of that email, where you're making it very simple and you simply say, just reply back to this email. I'll be glad to send you photos and details about this property. You see, when you highlight a specific property, you make it easy for them to respond. That database begins to raise their hand and let you know that they're interested in specific properties. This is a great way to re-engage your database, give it value, and set yourself apart as someone that is serious about doing this business and providing value in a way that makes sure they want to do business with you. Last but not least is people are waiting on the phone to ring instead of going out and making the calls. What is it that you're doing when you're just sitting there waiting on the business to come to you? You're being reactive. And I will tell you, especially in this real estate environment, if things are going to happen, it's completely up to you. This business is not just going to come to you. Those days of just getting the calls like we did in COVID, where if you could just fog a mirror, you could do 5 to 7 deals a year. That is over. Now it is about taking action. You can't just sit around and wait. And the biggest mistake that I see agents make right now, as far as the things that they're doing or not doing, is they're waiting waiting on things to happen instead of making them happen. Go out, do the business, get proactive, give value in a unique way, and your business will absolutely grow. This is a season that is separating the top producing agents from those that are average and those that will be out of the business. If you want to be one of those top producing agents, take action, be different, and I promise you're going to get results. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. I specifically chose the video below for you because it builds on the one you just watched. I hope it's helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.